Hello, it's been a while since we had a chat. It must be a good couple of weeks. I hope you're all really well and welcome to my channel if this is your first time here, or welcome back. So what have you been up to in the last couple of weeks? I can tell you what I've been up to. I have been to Budapest for the first time in Hungary. Really enjoyed the city, very beautiful. I went to meet my husband who had just finished a cycle ride along the Danube from Vienna through Slovakia and Bratislava, and then finishing up in Budapest. We had a lovely time, even though the weather was very, very hot. Complete contrast to here, because actually when I left to fly to Budapest, the weather here in London was really lovely and quite hot. And then when we got back, it started to cool down, and in Budapest it was about in the 30s, I think. So it wasn't great for sightseeing, but I did manage to get to the synagogue, which is, I think, the second largest in the world, which was absolutely beautiful, and also had a really interesting, comprehensive and moving history of the Jews in Hungary. And what else did we do? Oh yes, we took a boat trip down the Danube, which was fantastic. Absolutely loved that. And we were able to see all the great palaces and buildings built along the Danube. And we also ate in a couple of really nice restaurants. I had asked in one of the Facebook groups I'm in for recommendations for restaurants. Unfortunately, the one that was recommended was booked, and we should have booked before we left, really, but I didn't think about that. However, we did eat in a couple of really nice ones. And the other thing I did was I went to a perfume shop called 7 Scents and bought the most beautiful perfume. Again, this shop had been recommended in the Facebook group. And the perfume is called Un Bel Amour d'été, I think. I'll put the link down below for you in the description box. It's absolutely beautiful. So, lovely trip to Budapest. Came back. Weather's been awful, really. It's been cold. It's been very wet and very unseasonably cold, actually, for almost mid-July. However, it is supposed to improve, but they keep holding out this carrot for us and saying, yes, it's going to be better in a few days. But so far, that hasn't really happened. So we're just hoping that the weather will be nice when we go away, because we are actually going away again. Yes, I know it sounds like I'm going away all the time, but honestly, I was only away for 3 nights in Budapest. So, so this time we're going away for a week to our favourite spot in the world, which is where we want to move to, and that's in Suffolk by the sea. So hoping that the weather will be nice there. But to be honest, even if it's not, somehow there's something about being in the countryside and being by the sea. It doesn't really matter if you have to wear wet weather gear. Try saying that lots of times very quickly. It's still just fantastic to smell the sea air and to be out in the great wide open space. So talking about being out in the open space, have you been watching any sport this summer? Now, my husband is absolutely mad on every sport. Well, I say mad. He will watch any sport, even darts. That's how much he enjoys sport, although whether darts is a sport is perhaps debatable, and snooker as well. Although I must admit, I used to like snooker back in the day. Back in the 80s, I was a big fan. In fact, I always like to say that the exciting snooker match, yes, there was one in 1985, was what made my daughter come forth into the world, as it were, because she was a day late. And I was sitting there watching the match, and it was incredibly exciting. It was all on the black. And then a couple of hours later, I gave birth to her. But anyway, going back to actual physical sport, well, very physical. We've got tennis, we've got cycling, we've got the Olympics coming up soon. Now, do you watch the tennis? I'm a huge tennis fan. I have been since I was about 12. Even though I don't play, I really enjoy watching it. Although I haven't been as loyal to it in the last sort of 20 years or so as I was earlier on in my life, when I knew every single mixed doubles match, never mind the singles. Anyway, I'm really enjoying watching Wimbledon, and Tracy Austin, she is such a fantastic commentator. I absolutely love her. We've got Martina as well doing commentating. It's a really great tournament. The cycling, I don't love myself, but my husband absolutely adores it. And then, of course, we've got the Olympics. Now, with the Olympics, I tend to be only interested in the athletics. I'm not so interested in the field. It tends to be track stuff that I like. So really looking forward to watching that, which I think starts towards the end of July. So, yes, so it's a nice summer of sport. And in the meantime, there's very little else on the telly to watch because sport seems to dominate it. But that's just as well, really, because I don't think I'd have the space to watch dramas as well as watching sport, because sport is on all the terrestrial channels. And of course, how could I forget? I also forgot about the Euros, which of course is only of interest to those of you in Europe. But England have actually got through to the semis. They're playing tonight. They're playing Holland. I'm not sure whether they're going to do terribly well, it has to be said. They're not playing at their best. In fact, I'm not sure what their best is. Don't tell anyone I said that. But they usually don't quite live up to the sum of their parts, as it were. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. I'll certainly be watching. And, well, I'll be watching interspersed with reading because I'm not that hooked on football. But I would love England to do well. It'd be great if they did. Now, what else goes on in the summer? Well, as some of you will know, we've just had an election and I was the presiding officer again in my local polling station, which I absolutely loved doing. In fact, I think I loved it more this time because it was a general election rather than a local one, which made it have more import, I suppose. But also it was lighter throughout the day. So we started super early at 5:30, 6 o'clock. It was already light. And then at the end of the day, it was already light. It was only starting to get dark about 9:30. We shut at 10. So yes, it was a really great day and loved working with my colleagues. And it was a lot of fun, although quite exhausting, but very fulfilling. And then the other thing that goes on in the summer, of course, are festivals. Now, tell me something. Have you ever been to a festival? Have you ever been to Glastonbury? Have you been to any festivals in the States? Obviously, the only one I really know about was Woodstock because I watched the film. Oh, gosh, how I wished I'd been there. And I had the double album. I was such a fan of the music. I absolutely loved it. I don't really know what all the festivals are in the States. I know that there are festivals in Australia. Well, of course, there are going to be festivals all over the world, but I've seen my cousins in Australia go to them. So I have been to Latitude. Well, actually, before that, years ago, I went to Reading, but I didn't see anybody famous, I don't think. It was very wet, I remember, and muddy. And I actually stood on the stage. We had these backstage VIP passes, don't ask me why, but I ended up standing on the stage. And the band was the Michael Schenker group, who I didn't really know, and I don't know why I was on the stage, but I stood next to the drummer, and oh my goodness me, I hadn't realised how hard drummers work because the sweat was pouring off him. You could see it. He was really working like an absolute dog. It was amazing, really, incredibly impressive drummer and band. And then I went to Latitude years later. It was probably about 10 years ago. Oh, that's right. Yes, because it was in my 60th year. I wanted to go to a festival. I said to my friend who was able to get tickets, can we go and see something? And she sort of reluctantly said, okay, let's go to Latitude. Now, Latitude was right up my alley because it's not just music, it's also poetry and readings and other bits and bobs, which I really enjoyed. And we were lucky that the weather was very good. And I saw Hall and Oates, I saw Lily Allen, I saw Keisha, is it, or Keisha? It was really good, loved it. And then I also saw some comedians like Catherine Ryan and I've forgotten who else. Oh, that poet who's very funny, Elvis McGonagall, that's right, he was very funny. Very good. So really enjoyed Latitude. And of course, I've been watching Glastonbury on the telly and thinking, I wonder if I ought to go one day. But I don't have a group of friends that I can go with. My husband's not interested, really. And really, and I think a festival is something you need to go to with a group of friends. It's not really something to go to on your own. But let me know, have you been to Glastonbury or have you been to any festivals and who did you see and did you enjoy them? Now, I want to talk about something else, and I actually want to ask you a question. What are your pain points? Now, you might be thinking, well, what does she mean by that? What I mean is, what are the things that bother you that you would like to find solutions to? And the reason I'm asking this is because of my channel. I want to make sure that my channel is addressing your pain points. Now, obviously, if it's to do with I need to find a decent plumber, then obviously I'm not going to be able to help you with that. But the sort of things that we talk about on this channel, so beauty related, fashion related, possibly lifestyle related as well. So maybe diet, for example, because I'm going to be addressing that very soon in a video. Let me know what they are. And the reason I mention this now is because I was reading an interview with Rob Brydon, the comedian, and he mentioned quite randomly that he had worked with QVC, the shopping channel. And apparently the training at QVC is not about selling the product, It's about selling what the product can do for you. In other words, what is the pain point that the product is trying to address? That is why I'm asking you what your pain points are, because I can do videos about a particular product, but that's not necessarily going to attract a load of interest because nobody knows about it. What they want to know is what the product can do, if the product is any good. Can it get rid of my fine lines and wrinkles? Can it blur my pores? Can it help me lose weight? Because we're often searching for that holy grail. What is the concealer that's going to stop my under eyes from creasing? What is the powder that's going to blur my pores? In fact, I've just bought a powder that supposedly blurs pores, and I'm not entirely sure that it does, but I'll be doing a video about that very soon as well. So these are the sort of questions that I'm interested in having answers to, because I want my channel to help you. That's what it's about. It's not just about me going, hello, don't I look fab with this new makeup on? It's about finding solutions to beauty problems, because I love putting makeup on and I love sharing it with you. But if it's not providing solutions, it's not terribly exciting, is it? It's, oh, there's Des putting on another lipstick or whatever. Well, so what? So I think that's what I'm trying to say in a very inelegant way, really, is let me know what your pain points are in the comments below, and let me know what you'd like to see on my channel. Now, I know I do ask this periodically and you all do come back with answers, and I really appreciate them, and I try to address them, and I have done some videos on them, and I'll continue to do that. So, for example, one of the requests I had recently was about how to accessorize outfits. So in other words, clothes that you've had for a long time that you might be a bit bored with, how can you jazz them up with accessories? So I am going to do that video. So I do listen to what you say and I do take it all into account. I really do. And I absolutely love the interaction we have in the comments here. I love it so much. It really makes me feel that we're engaging with each other, because this is very remote, really. This is just me sitting in my office upstairs having a chat to a phone. So there we are, a little ramble by me. I've really missed talking to you. I love talking to you so much, and it feels like you are behind the phone, even though you're not really. And I hope you're all doing really well, and I hope the weather is nice where you are. I know in the States you're having a heat wave, in Europe they're having a heat wave. In the Southern Hemisphere it's the winter time, so you're not having a heat wave, I assume. But here in Blighty we are on the edge of the world. We've got Gulf streams, we've got jet streams, and we seem to be caught in the middle of this sort of vortex of weird weather. So I'm hoping it's going to warm up. But anyway, I hope you're having a fantastic time wherever you are. And I send you lots and lots of love. And a new video will be coming out on Sunday. And that will be a pack with me video, which I hope you'll enjoy. And thanks again so much for watching. It means the absolute world to me. It really does. You're all so fantastic and I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. And I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Bye.